Shericka Jackson runs 50.92 in Jamaica. Has run a couple 400s this year now. Ran a little bit indoors, but this is obviously the biggest result so far of her season. Anytime someone's sub 51 before April, you're going to take note. We obviously know her range is incredible. She's won medals in the 100, 200, and 400. She's got fast PRs all the way up and down. But this was a great start. You see the short sprinters move up to the quarter and run some 400s to varying degrees of success. But with Shericka Jackson, it's really not fair because she was a 400-meter runner. She knows how to do it, and you can see that just because she's training for the 1 and the 2, she's still fast in the quarter.
This is once again. God dang it! I should have. My internet's coming out. Should have done some little bit of a research on this one because I didn't do that. But I was gonna say, where does 50.92 rank last year?
And you talking about on the world list?
Yeah.
2022 women's 400, 50.92. This isn't that impressive of a stat. 31st? Is that what you're looking for?
Well, that's what I wanted. So you can a little get perspective. She ran a time that's like in the 31st range as her outdoor opener.
Yeah. She's a good 400-meter runner.
It's good, but it's not like a top 10 type.
No, it's good because it's pre-April. It's good because outdoors really hasn't even started yet. And it's good because she's presumably just still training for the 1 and the 2.
So is she going on the pre-April Mount Rushmore of 400-meter running?
This is pretty. It's a pretty elite and exclusive group. I thought it's a rust buster race, right? But if it's a rust buster time, that's a fast time.
It's a good
for
time
someone going out of their primary distance.
And she's probably definitely not even going hard in the paint in the final 100. Probably she's probably just kind of just cruising through it.
Yeah.
So
here's what I was thinking, and this is not something I think would happen, but I thought was sort of interesting because we've talked about how somewhat open the 400 is this year, depending on what some big-name 400-meter hurdlers do. On the women's side, I'm talking about. So 400, a bit open. And we know Shericka Jackson likes a double. I'm not saying anybody's going to walk away from a 1-2 double, especially to run the 4. But the 2-4 double, pretty interesting.
Is it possible?
So the 200-meter first round is the morning of the 400 final. More or less. Not easy.
That's not that bad.
Doable.
Yeah.
Doable sort of double. Again,
You can run like 22.9 and qualify out of the first round.
Yeah. Again, I don't think she's going to do it, but I was just wondering because we've seen the 1-2 a bunch. The 2-4, the Michael Johnson, the Marie-Jose Perec double. We haven't seen that. Felix talked about it for a while, potentially doing it. Shawnee Miller-Weibo.
So you put us out there.
I would love to see it. Now, what are her chances of – we both agree, and we're going to show the rankings a little bit. 200, she's a huge favorite after what she did last year. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So my thought is, all right, all things being equal, just in this world, let's just pretend the 100 and 400 are equally demanding on your body. Let's just say that for sake of argument. I know not everybody's going to agree with that or anybody's going to agree with that. Where's the better path to a gold medal? Is it in the 1 or is it in the 4? That's really difficult to say right now because you don't know who's going to be in the 4. But if all those 400-meter hurdlers just stay in the 400-meter hurdles,
then it's the 4.
Yeah, because it's her, Paulino.
That's it.
And those are they would be the biggest names. Those would be the main favorites in that event. Versus the 100, where you have Shelly Ann there. If Elaine Thompson-Ra has a bounce back, there's a lot of depth, a lot of experience there. Again, I don't think she's going to do it, but I was curious enough to look up the schedule and see if it would work.
You just need an excuse to look up the schedule.
I love me some schedules.
Oh, man. What are you going to do once all of the permutations of potential doubles and triples and singles are out there?
They could solve this problem today
by making a universal schedule.
Seb Coe said has another press conference. He had one last week. A lot of people wrote about it.
Yep, they did.
He can have another one this week. Very few people will care about this press conference except me, and I'll be cheering in the front row unless it's a bad schedule. Yeah. But if you made it possible, you say, at the moment I would say, hey, 2-4, you'd be like, wow, yeah, but that day 6 would be tricky because you'd know what a day 6 looks like because you've covered track for a long time and you know what it would mean.
I've been covering track for a decade.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Like, as a fan, you'd rather see her do the 2-4, correct? Just because of the historical connections of it. But
to be honest, I don't either, or I wouldn't care.
Just like with Curly. Curly, if in your perfect world, you'd want to see him do 1.4.
I want to see 1.4. I'd rather see Shericka do a 1.4 than a 2.4.
Yeah, but then that's asking to give up the
one that she's best at.
Yeah,
which is
by a big margin.
Yeah.
And that's the advantage that she has here. Is I think she has enough breathing room in that event too.
But like, it is interesting. I didn't think about it, but looking at the 4, if none of the 400-meter hurdlers go over there, it is going to be ripe for the taking. And Shericka is one of those athletes out there who could be like, wait a minute, that's a gold medal just sitting there. I could just walk up to it and pick it up.
Yeah.
But all I got to do is walk over there. I'm really distracted, though. There's nice sunshine, roses, and glamour of the 100. But if I just walk this way, you get a nice little gold medal.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, let's not discount Paulino. She had the fastest time in the world last year. She went sub 49. But yeah, after that, because last year it was Miller Wable, Paulino, and then there was a gap.
Yeah.
But if Jackson doesn't do it, and I know Nasser's coming back this year from the suspension, but can't count on that.
Nasser's coming back this year?
Yeah. So then you'd have Diggs getting in the mix. See, I think it's going to be too tempting. One of those 400-meter hurdlers is going to jump over. Even though maybe right now
are they going to jump over the hurdle to get to the...
They don't even need to jump over a hurdle. You just write your name down on the paper or send it in. Right now, it may not seem that way, but as it gets closer and we see more times roll in, and if no one emerges early season with a good 400-meter time, people are going to say, why don't we try this?
Kevin, you know what's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
They're all going to declare for both, and we're not going to know what they're actually running until 12 hours before the race.
12 hours before USA's for some of them.
Yeah, so but for the international athletes, they're going to be declared in all of them. Femke Bolt's going to be declared in the 400 and the 400 hurdles, and we're all going to be like, oh, she's doing a double, but really she's just picking one, and one is a safety valve. Like, Safana San enters every event every year because they can. Like,
well, but she also runs every event.
She didn't run everyone. Almost. But, like, some of these athletes can be like, oh, yeah, and then they scratch. Like, Emmanuel Correa was always entered in a 4 and the 8, but really was focused on one or the other.
He's done it, though.
He's done it. No, he did it after not making out of the 800 semis. Then he went all in on the 4.
But he did it.
But he probably wouldn't have gone in the 4 if he made the 800 final.
I agree. There's not going to be one big day where everybody makes an announcement.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna be having this conversation literally the week of Worlds.
But I think it might come out in bits and pieces because the American athletes will have to say something. So that is Sydney, and that's Britton Wilson. So then you at least know those two.
But and like people like Michael Norman won't.
Well, Norman, because he has the bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, are you going to actually take the spot or not?
You're right.
I don't know. I'm going to see how I feel.
This kind of makes it interesting, though, in a way. Lots to talk about.
Makes good for podcasting?
Well, you just say, hey, with this bit of information, what do we think this person's going to do? Norman's a little bit different situation with the bye. With the quarter, I'm just fascinated by it. I don't think she's going to do it, but it would be fun just to watch someone with that range try to. Because I think if you're running 50, if you're running that sort of time at this point in the season, it's not a guarantee that you're going to be sub 50 in the heart of the season, but it's a pretty big bet, especially with her experience. And when you run that fast in the 200, it just shows me her endurance really hasn't gone anywhere. Yeah. Her endurance is still there, and she's gotten faster. Now she's a better 100-meter runner. She's a better 200-meter runner. What do you think is going to happen when she runs 400?